Dear shareholders, good afternoon and a warm welcome to you all to the 86th Annual General Meeting of Cipla Limited. For the smooth conduct of the meeting, all the shareholders will be in mute mode. The audio and video will be unmuted for those shareholders who've registered themselves as speaker during the Q&A session. Members who've not registered as speakers but want to ask questions may do so by posting their questions in the chat box available on the screen. Shareholders are also provided webcast facility for live viewing of the proceedings of the meeting. Please note that as per the statutory requirements, the proceedings of the annual general meeting are being recorded and the recording as well as the transcript will be uploaded on the website of the company. I now invite our chairman, Dr. Y.K. Amit, to initiate the proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to the 86th Annual General Meeting of your company, Cipla. I hope all of you are safe and in good health. Before I start the proceedings, I would like to introduce you to our Cipla board members, the senior management and auditors present with us today. On the top left of the screen, we have Mr. Ashok Sinha. He is an independent director and the chairman of the audit committee. Next to Mr. Sinha, we have Mr. Radhakrishna, the chairman of Stakeholders Relationship Committee. We then have Mr. Adil Zainul Bhai. He is our lead independent director. Next to Mr. Zainul Bhai, we have Mrs. Punita Lal. She is an independent director and the chairperson of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee. Next to Mrs. Lal, we have Mr. Ashish Adukia, the Cipla Global CFO, Chief Financial Officer. We then have Mr. Umesh Vora, the Managing Director and Global Chief Executive Officer of the company. Below Mr. Vora, we have Mr. Rajinder Chopra, the Company Secretary. On the left of the screen, we have Mr. M.K. Hamid, the Vice Chairman of the company and Chairman of the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee. Below Mr. Hamid, we have Mrs. Samina Hamid. She is the Executive Vice Chairman of the company and the Chairperson of the Investment and Risk Management Committee. We then had Dr. Peter Mugini, who is an independent director. Beside Dr. Mugini, we have Mr. P.R. Ramesh, who is also an independent director. We then have Mr. Robert Stewart, who is also an independent director of the company. Next to him, we have Dr. Mandar Vaidya, who is also an independent director of the company. Apart from the directors, I'd also like to introduce to you Mr. Ashish Gupta, who represents Walter Chandok and Company, our statutory auditors. Mr. B. Narasimhan, practicing company secretary, the secretarial auditor, and the scrutinizer for the purpose of voting results at the AGM. We also have Mr. D.H. Zaveri, the cost auditor, and Mr. L. Bhargava, the assurance reviewer. Now, as the required and requisite quorum is present, and I would therefore like to call this meeting to order and request Mr. Rajendra to make the statutory announcements. Mr. Rajendra, please continue.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, dear shareholders. This meeting is being conducted through video conference in accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the Securities Exchange Board of India. The proceeding of this annual general meeting are also being webcasted live for all the members as per the details provided in the notice of the annual general meeting. The integrated annual report containing the board report, auditor's report, financial statement and other reports along with the notice of the meeting have already been sent to you at your registered email ID. I hope you have received the annual report. With your permission, I take them as read. Since there are no qualifications, observations, comments, or remark in the statutory auditors and the secretarial auditors report for the year ended 31st March 2022, I take the liberty and consider both the reports as read in the interest of the time. In order to enable you to vote on the resolutions, we have provided the e-voting facility through NSDL platform. The remote e-voting commenced at 9 a.m. Indian Standard Time on Monday 22nd August 2022 and ended at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time on Thursday 25th August 2022. The voting rights were reckoned on the shares held as on the cutoff date, that is 19th August 2022. In case you have not exercised your voting right through the remote e-voting facility, I request you to do so now while watching the AGM proceeding. Voting will remain open up to 30 minutes from the conclusion of the meeting. Since you have been provided e-voting facility, there will be no voting by show of hand at the meeting as per the statutory provisions. The statutory document and reports as required to be placed before at the AGM are open for inspection electronically. Shareholders who wish to inspect these documents may write to us at cipla.agm@cipla.com. May I now invite our chairman, Dr. Y.K. Hamid, to address the shareholder and deliver his speech. Thank you. Over to you, Chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, again I would like to welcome you to the 86th AGM of your company. Once again, this meeting is virtual. It has been 2 years since we last held an in-person meeting. Unfortunately, the unpredictable nature of the COVID-19 pandemic still prevails. And now there is a new threat to public health with the monkeypox outbreak. I sincerely appeal to all of you to be disciplined and look after yourself, your families, your friends, and colleagues as best possible. Apart from this, the world continues to be plagued by newer diseases, war, supply chain disruptions, market volatility, and above all, the major threats of climate change and antimicrobial resistance. However, despite these major problems, scientists have been able to effectively control the COVID virus and its variants and also provide the world with newer therapies, newer diagnostics, newer vaccines, and newer medications. All of you, our shareholders, have received by email a copy of CIPLA's annual report for the year ended 31st March 2022. This includes a detailed survey of your company's financial performance, management discussions and analysis, business strategy, technical and manufacturing operations, human relations, corporate social responsibility, supply chain management, and overall company governance. With your permission, I take this report as read. It is the 5th year in succession that your company has presented a fully integrated annual report, and the people responsible for it have to be duly commended. You would be interested to know that today, India is among the largest providers of generic medicines in the world, catering to at least 20% of the global demand in terms of volume. India ranks 3rd globally by pharma volume and 14th by value and has the highest number of approved pharmaceutical plants outside the USA. The pharma industry has to navigate many uncertainties. Building innovation, both incremental and transformational, with scientific acumen is the only way to grow and to prosper in the future. The year under review has been a momentous one for Cipla. We were recognized by Business Standard as the Company of the Year 2021, and our Executive Vice Chairman, Samina Hamid, was conferred with the Economic Times Businesswoman of the Year 2021 award. Cipla was also recognized among the companies responsible for India's overall development, covering 75 years of independence. These recognitions are a testament to the high standards and commitment of all Cipla employees who continue to uphold the company's legacy of caring for life. At this stage, I would again like to thank all in the Cipla family throughout India and globally for their outstanding performance and work during this difficult year, not only in fighting COVID-19, but also in providing medicines on a sustained and continuous basis in India and worldwide. The work done has been well beyond the call of duty, and your company has been among the most responsible in the industry during this difficult period. We have made significant progress in our business and continue our forward growth not only in India but also in the USA and other key markets. Cipla continues to remain the third largest pharmaceutical company both in India and in South Africa. Globally, among all pharmaceutical companies, we rank number 52, and among the global generic drug companies, we rank among the leading 15. We have expanded our leadership role beyond providing medicines and are on a path to becoming an overall healthcare provider, thereby improving the quality of life of patients in India and worldwide. Friends, it is now 25 years since the Cipla Palliative Care and Training Center in Pune was started. This humanitarian institution provides free of cost services to all patients who are terminally ill with serious medical problems, in particular cancer and allied ailments. The unit supports both patients and their families during critical and difficult times. We are really proud that this institution is unique and only one of its kind, not only in India, but elsewhere as well. I would like to reiterate that Cipla continues to be a partner of choice for many domestic and global pharmaceutical companies. We have an excellent ongoing relationship with many international organizations and also with organizations such as the Global Fund, DNDi, MMV, UNAIDS, Clinton Foundation, etc. Within India, Cipla has close links with many government institutions and laboratories under ICMR, CSIR, and establishments such as CDRI and IICT, as also with many private organizations and universities. These partnerships help us not only in R&D, but also in manufacturing and distribution of specialized medicines and specialized diagnostics. Finally, I would like to assure you, our shareholders, that your company will continue to do whatever best possible towards healthcare, always with a humanitarian approach by providing affordable medication, and that none should be denied treatment, both in India and worldwide. My sincere gratitude to all my colleagues on the Cipla board of directors, whom you can all see here today, and the company's leadership team headed by Samina Hamid and Mr. Umang Vora for their continued support, guidance, and visionary leadership. I would also like to acknowledge the contribution of all our employees, both past and present, as also our partners and collaborators in bringing Cipla to its current eminent position in the pharmaceutical industry and ensuring that the future success of your company will be ongoing. As always, our profuse thanks to you, our shareholders, to the medical profession, to our customers, to our suppliers, to all our partners, to all our associates for their continuing support and trust in your company. Many thanks for being with us today virtually in such large numbers. I thank you for being here, and I would now like to pass on to Mr. Umang Vora, our MD and CEO, to brief you on the operations and performance of the company, and thereafter Mr. Rajendra to take up statutory items as proposed in the notice of the AGM and other matters. Umang, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to take everybody through the brief presentation on the company. So if you can please go to the first slide. I'd like to thank all of you who have joined us here today. We are positioning Cipla to be an organization that continues to focus strongly on innovation as a theme as we go forward. So if you go to the next slide, please, which is our first. As a broad snapshot, the company has grown by overall 14% in the last year, and excluding the sale of COVID products by close to 12%. We have shown this growth almost across all our markets. If you look at the One India story, the One India business has now reached 10,000 crores. We're growing at a very strong rate of 27%. If you look at the US business, that's about $600 million in size, grew about 8%. Our margins out of the total business are closer to 21%. And if you look at R&D, we've been able to up that spending by 21%. So despite the rise in R&D, we've kept our margin trajectory in play. And if you were to consider our growth in South Africa, our growth in the emerging side of the world, almost all businesses have shown very significant growth over the previous year. If we turn to the next slide, we are always reminded that Cipla operates. Can we go to the next slide, please? We're always reminded that Cipla as an organization is an organization that actually works with its heart. And our foundation and the ethos of our foundation helps us do that. So while we report these numbers, while we report a better operating trajectory, I think for us it's extremely important that we keep at the center of heart the work we do for the patients in the community. And our foundation leads this from the front. And there have been several initiatives that the foundation has undertaken, including health, education, skilling, disaster management, and we've helped several rounds of hospitals and palliation in the overall mix. So we'd like to continue to do this as a foundation, as an organization going forward. This company was formed for its service to patients and consumers for the ecosystem, and we shall continue to endeavor to do that. If you go to the next slide, One of our slides at our Kurkum factory has a very, very nice saying. And it says, we did not inherit this planet from our ancestors, but we have borrowed it from our children. And just the interplay of these words is very powerful to allow CIPLA and all our colleagues at CIPLA to make this planet better for our children, to leave it much better than how we inherited it. And I'm glad to respond to you that we have taken several sustainability goals, and I think among them is carbon neutrality. We are well underway. It's a tall target, but we will get there. Water neutrality, as well as zero waste to landfill. And all of these we are working on as much as we try to ensure that we do not have fatalities and accidents on our shop floors. So all of this, along with improvements in governance, a lot of you have now received the annual report and have sent us appreciation for how it has come out. This is truly our 6th year, I believe, of the integrated financial reporting, and we will continue to better this as we go ahead. If you go to the next slide, please. Like we had mentioned the last time to you, there are about 11 strategic pillars, 10 here plus one underlying pillar of digital and transformation through digital in each of these pillars that we as an organization have undertaken. And we are well underway to a lot of these. Some of these are running. This is a 5-year, or you could say 3-year goal. Some of these are running ahead of their time. I think 1 or 2 are a little behind our own targets, and they're largely behind because of the way COVID has panned out. But these are the 10 or 11 factors that we are moving very significantly as we begin to position ourselves and to try and become future ready. Of course, the last slide you see on the deck is innovation, and we are trying to create an innovation agenda for an organization that keeps us relevant to everybody 5 or 10 years from now. And this includes what we will do in wellness, what we will do in lung leadership, where both those trajectories are growing very strong, as well as all other therapies. And in several markets where we will continue to use the opportunities that are given to us as these markets either grow significantly or disrupt, depending on technology solutions that many of our partners are bringing in. So if you go to the next slide, I'd like to leave you with a slide snapshot of what we would like CIPLA to look like in the future. As Dr. Hamid said, we will make sure that almost everyone gets treated. Can we go to the next slide, please? And within that, innovation becomes the core central theme for us. And you see that at the middle of our slide, whether it is in diagnostics, in digital therapeutics, whether it is in mRNA, in the field of biosimilars. At CIPLA, we are attempting to see what could be specific areas that we could build out significantly for the future, as well as focusing on ESG and making sure that we continue to stay the thriving place for our employees and continue to do the work for society. So with that, I'd like to thank you for all your support in CIPLA, and on behalf of the management team and the management council, you have a commitment to make CIPLA future ready. Thank you. With this, I would like to turn over to Rajendra. Rajendra, could you please, back to you now.
Thank you, Umang. Shareholders may note that since the meeting is being held through video conference and the resolutions provided in the notice have already been put to vote through e-voting, there will be no proposing and seconding for the resolutions. I will now brief you on various resolutions which we have proposed in the notice of the annual general meeting. Once I finish the customary process of briefing on the resolutions, we will invite the members who have registered their name to ask questions or seek clarification from the management, statutory auditor, and the secretarial auditors. Item number 1 and 2 of the notice have been proposed as ordinary resolutions for adoption of audited standalone and consolidated financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2022 and the report of the board of directors and auditors thereon. The auditors have issued an unmodified report on the financial statement and has confirmed that the financial statements represent a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company. The board has recommended these financial statements for adoption by the members. Item number 3 of the notice has been proposed as an ordinary resolution for declaration of dividend. The board has recommended a final dividend of rupees 5 per equity share for the financial year ended 31st March 2022. Upon approval by the shareholders, the company will endeavour to pay the dividend within 7 working days from the date of declaration, but in no event it will be less than 30 days from the date of the annual general meeting. Item number 4 of the notice has been proposed as an ordinary resolution for reappointment of Ms. Samina Hamid as director liable to retire by rotation. Beside Ms. Samina Hamid, Dr. Y.K. Hamid, our chairman, and Mr. M.K. Hamid, our vice chairman, are interested in this resolution. Considering her rich and varied experience and her contribution to the organization, and based on the performance evaluation and on the recommendation of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee, the board has recommended the reappointment of Ms. Samina Hamid as a director liable to retire by rotation. Item number 5 has been proposed as a special resolution for appointment of Dr. Mandar Vaidya as an independent director. Dr. Mandar Vaidya is a medical director and a management graduate from the Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies. He has spent 15 years at McKinsey, where he co-led the healthcare practice in India and established the hospital practice for Asia. He has served leading pharmaceutical companies in India and globally across several areas such as core strategy, manufacturing, productivity improvement, R&D productivity, etc. He is currently the CEO of OYO Europe. In view of his rich and varied experience and on the recommendation of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee, the board has recommended the appointment of Dr. Mandar Vaidya as an independent director for a period of 5 years with effect from 29 July 2022. Item number 6 has been proposed as an ordinary resolution for enabling authorization to grant share-based benefits from one or more of our subsidiary companies to Mr. Umang Vora, our Managing Director and Global CEO. Since the share-based benefit would be granted from subsidiary companies as per the statutory requirement, approval of the shareholder was not mandatory. However, following the high standards of the governance and transparency, the Board of Directors is seeking additional approval of the shareholders of Cipla Limited. The board has recommended this proposal for approval of the shareholder. Item number 7 of the notice is an ordinary resolution and pertain to the of remuneration of cost auditor for financial year 2022-23. The board, on the recommendation of the audit committee, has approved remuneration of rupees 11.75 lakhs plus applicable taxes and out-of-pocket expenses as remuneration to Mr. D.H. Javeri, our cost auditor. As per the provisions of the Companies Act, since the remuneration approved by the board is required to be ratified by the members of the company, the board recommends ratification of the remuneration to the cost auditor for the financial year 2022-23. Uh, we will now invite our members who have registered themselves to ask any question to the management, the statutory auditor, and the secretary auditors, or may make any suggestion. We have received requests from 22 members who want to speak at the AGM. They will be unmuted upon their turn and will be allowed to speak when called upon by the moderator. We will reply to all the questions and queries in one go. In the interest of the time, I request all the speaker shareholder to please keep the questions and comment in brief and not to repeat the question which have already been asked by the fellow members. I also request the shareholders to not to take more than 2 minutes. This will ensure that other members get opportunity to ask questions and speak at the AGM. May I now request the moderator to please invite the speaker shareholder one. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Request you all to please be connected while we bring in the speaker shareholders online. Request everyone to please be connected while we bring in the speaker shareholders online. The first speaker shareholder Lekha Shah is not connected. Second speaker shareholder Bimal Kumar Agarwal is not connected. Speaker shareholder number 3 Narendra Zaveri is not connected. Speaker shareholder number 4 HS Patel is not connected. We have speaker shareholder 5 Mr. Anil Parekh connected with us. Please go ahead.
Chairman sir, am I audible? Hello,
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you. Please go ahead.
Amit ji, am I audible to you?
Yeah.
How are you,
Yes.
sir? How are you,
Fine.
sir? You are
I'm fine.
fine. I hope. I hope you are fine and fit at your end, and I hope every board member also fine and fit at their respective end.
Thank you.
Sir, this is the third meeting in a row where we are not meeting each other and not able to greet each other for whatever good deeds you have done. Sir, I request you to kindly have physical meeting next time uh, if everything goes well. Sir, I would like to begin uh, with one saying, सामने हो मंजिल तो रास्ते ना मोड़ना, सामने हो मंजिल तो रास्ते ना मोड़ना, जो भी मन में हो वो सपना मत तोड़ना, कदम कदम पर मिलेगी मुश्किलें आपको, बस सितारे छूने के लिए मंजिल मत छोड़ना. Having said this, sir, I would like to thank our CS team headed by Mr. Rajendra Ji Chopra. He's a nice person, very easily available on phone calls, and wherever I have any doubts and any suggestions to make, he's always there to help us out. I'm very much thankful to him for assisting us to join this meeting. Rajendra Bhai, thank you very much. Sir, now I have gone through the annual report. Our revenues, our revenues are 14% up, EBITDA 21% up, PAT margin is also 11.6% up. Everything is up, sir. We are constantly growing our organization to greater heights. If I see last 10 years chart given on page number 14, sir, we are constantly doing better and better in spite of the fact last 3 years we are facing COVID-19, and this year we have reached to 21,763 crores. Excellent performance. Sir, dividend also last year was not there, but you have once again we are in a dividend list. Sir, I am thankful to the board members and particularly Umang Vora for highlighting salient features of this year's performance. And sir, I have few questions to ask you. Sir, first, this year we have reached 10,000 crore mark Indian business. Sir, what you are evaluating our business for the coming year, domestic as well as foreign? And sir, you have mentioned our API business witnessed momentary slowdown in developing markets. So, how you are evaluating that also? Kindly tell me that, sir. Now, sir, next, I would like to ask you one question regarding 1 minute, sir. Uh, sir, our collaboration with pharmaceutical companies for the launch of Molnupiravir, uh, how well it is received, I would like to know that. And also, uh, our joint venture agreement with Campbell Biopharma and licensing agreement with strategic partner Lilly, how this will help us to have our better top line and bottom line. Sir, everything is very well spelled out by yourself and Umang Bhai. I don't have many more questions to ask you. I am very much pleased with the performance of the company, and I support all the resolutions very strongly, and I have full faith in your leadership. Thank you for patient hearing, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parekh.
Thank you. We now invite speaker shareholder number 6, Sailesh Mahadevia. Please go ahead.
Yes. Am I visible and audible?
Yes,
Respected Chairman, distinguished directors and members of the company. Sir, I feel highly privileged to speak in front of such an excellent board, all of whom are experts and experienced in their own field of specialization. Sir, I have also received an excellent integrated report which is exhaustive, it is transparent, and it is accurate. Sir, you have also included BR and SR report, which is not compulsory, but you have included from the current year. Sir, I also appreciate the excellent financial results which you have achieved and the dividend you have distributed to the shareholders. And I also appreciate a number of awards which you have returned, but in particular, the award given to our Vice Chairman for the Woman of Achievement for the Year by the Economic Times. And I appreciate the cooperation and assistance of the Secretarial Department, without which this meeting would not have been possible for me. Now, sir, I wish to put some questions. My first question is that on page number 145, we have stated that our income from wholesale trading is 25.29% of the income. Sir, I would like to know whether this type of income is likely to continue, and if you can share some of the details that which are these items for which we have earned as much as 25%. Sir, my next question is that we have spent 1122 crore of rupees for R&D, substantial amount of which is for regular expenditure and some for capital expenditure. This is excellent, and I believe this is the foundation which gives us excellent result. But sir, can you share that in which particular way this research helping us, maybe in actually achieving long-term clients or in developing some of our products? Sir, my third question is that you have mentioned in the report ISO certification for one or two items scattered in the report. Sir, my request is that we should give all the ISO certifications which we are enjoying it one paragraph, maybe ISO 9000 for management, 14,000, 18,000, 27,000, etc., etc. That will be of great help to us in understanding and appreciating our report. Sir, my next and a suggestion is that you have given at the end of the report abbreviations. You have called it glossary of abbreviation. Sir, in reality, it is abbreviation only. For example, if you tell me AI stands for artificial intelligence, it is only abbreviation. But if you give me explanation as to how this is going to be helpful and what it means to the business, it will be a glossary. Sir, that will help us considerably. And of course, what you have stated as abbreviation is also of great help. Sir, my next question is that on page 35, under intellectual capital, you have given that we are enjoying 583 DMFs filed globally. Sir, may I know what are these DMFs and in which way it will help us in our intellectual capital field. Sir, then my next question number 5 is that on page 251, you have given that income from export of API is 711 crores. Sir, may I know what come from API within the country which we may have sold? Sir, then my next question is regarding raw material import, possibly from China. I believe a lot of imports are being done from China and other countries. Sir, may I know whether we have been able to reduce our dependence on the outside world and develop some of these within our own sources? Sir, with this, I wish our organization every success in all our efforts in the years to come. It has actually become a way of life to make progress and reward the society at large and also the shareholders. Thank you very
Thank
much, sir.
thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Madhavia.
Thank you. Speaker shareholder number 1, Lekha Shah, is connected with us in audio. Ma'am, your audio is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected Chairman, sir, Board of Directors, and my fellow members, good afternoon to all of you. Myself, Lekasha from Mumbai. First of all, I'm very much thankful to our company secretary, Chopraji, and his team for sending me the AGM notice well in time. Thank you, Chairman, sir, for explaining us well out the company. Congratulations for excellent work, sir. Sir, I pray to God that He always showers His blessings upon you. Sir, I would thank to all the personnel of company for receiving awards and recognition by the various clients during the year 21 and 22. And also, I am glad the company is doing very well in the field of CSR activities. Sir, I would like to ask you questions. My first question is, with the COVID-19 stimulatory to our health, does our company working on research medicine related to COVID-19? My second question is, what is the market share of our generic medicine in the domestic market and how much it is contribute to our profitability? Are any expansion plans in manufacturing units? So, I would like to say, I strongly support all the resolutions for today's meeting and my best wishes always our company and its prosperity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We take the next speaker shareholder number 2, Bimal Kumar Agarwal. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
So your line
Hello.
is unmuted. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
So we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello.
While
Hello.
we check the connection
Hello.
for Mr. Bimal Agarwal, we move on to the next speaker shareholder. Speaker shareholder number 7, we tried reaching him, Mr. Yusuf Yunus Rangwala, but he is not available. We move on to the next speaker shareholder, Bharat Shah. Please go ahead.
हेलो
Yes,
हेलो
go ahead.
मैडम आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
I can hear you.
हेलो
Please go ahead.
ओके ओके माननीय चेयरमैन श्री अ, हामिद जी, वाइस चेयरमैन श्री एम के और अन्य मान्यवर डायरेक्टर्स, सर बम्बई से मैं, हेलो, हाँ बोलिए मैडम, आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
हाँ, हम आपको सुन पा रहे हैं.
हेलो
Please go ahead.
ओके ओके सर, बम्बई से मैं स्मिता शाह बात करती हूँ. सादर नमस्कार सर. पहले तो मैं आपको कंपनी का एक्सेलेंट परफॉर्मेंस के लिए प्लस आपने कई सारे अवार्ड्स भी प्राप्त किए हैं, सो आपको मैं अभिनंदन देना चाहूंगी. और ये सभी सर आपकी लीडरशिप में पूरी बोर्ड टीम और सभी छोटे बड़े सभी एम्प्लॉइज सभी का योगदान जो आपके साथ रहा है और सभी की मेहनत के साथ आज हमको ये अपना अच्छा रिजल्ट मिल रहा है। सो कंपनी के गुड वर्क के साथ आगे बढ़कर आपने सिप्ला का नाम भी मशहूर कर दिया है और ग्लोबल मार्केट साइज बहुत अच्छा बढ़ गया है सर। बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन सर। आप आज भी आप इतने हैंडसम और कॉन्फिडेंटल लगते हो कि एक तो आपकी हिम्मत और दूसरी बात सर ऑलवेज आपका स्माइलिश नेचर जो है सर, तो कंपनी के प्रति सच्ची लगन और हार्डवर्क जो हमें नजर आ रही है। सो मैं आपकी सराहना करती हूँ कि इस साल आपने डिविडेंड भी दिया। सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कठिन परिस्थिति में भी आपने शेयर होल्डर का ख्याल रखकर डिविडेंड दिया। धन्यवाद सर। और सर मैं मेरे आगे तो कई स्पीकर्स बोल चुके तो उसमें दो तीन मेरी क्वेरी तो ऑलरेडी हो गई है, लेकिन मैं सर पूछना चाहूंगी कि आपने कई सारी तो मेडिसिन ऑलरेडी बनाई है। सो अभी फ्यूचर में आप कौन सी दवाइयाँ मार्केट में लाना चाहते हो या फ्यूचर में और कौन से क्या प्लान बनाए हैं, सो जरूर थोड़ा हाईलाइट कीजिए। बाकी तो सर मेरी हार्दिक शुभकामना कि ईश्वर आपकी हेल्थ वेल्थ हमेशा बढ़िया बनाए रखे और आप यूं ही सदा हर्षित मुख के साथ फ्यूचर में भी ढेरों तरक्की के साथ आगे बढ़कर फार्मा फील्ड में आगे रहे, यही शुभकामना के साथ आज के सभी रिजोल्यूशन में मैं फुल्ली सपोर्ट करती हूँ। सर लास्टली मैं एक ही कहना चाहूंगी कि सर हम 3 साल से आपके साथ वीसी माध्यम से जुड़ रहे हैं। इस वीसी माध्यम में बहुत ही दिक्कत आती है सर। सो गया साल भी मैं आपसे जुड़ नहीं पाई थी, लेकिन इस टाइम मुझे सीएस टीम से बहुत हेल्प मिली है और आपसे आज जुड़ पाई और मैं आज से बात करने का आज मुझे मौका मिला, तो मैं स्पेशल
Ma'am, we couldn't hear you for that while. You may please go ahead now. Ma'am, we are unable to hear you.
हेलो हेलो
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
हेलो
Go ahead. We can hear you now.
हेलो हाँ हाँ ओके ओके सर रमेश टीम से नटराजन का मैं आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ। बहुत हेल्पफुल है, मुझे हेल्प की और मुझे हार्ड कॉपी भी भेजी और बहुत फॉलो भी
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. There's a break in the audio. While we check the connection for ma'am, we move on to the next speaker shareholder. We have the speaker shareholder number 10 is Santosh Kumar Saraf. Sir, request you to please go ahead.
आदरणीय सभापति जी, उपस्थित निर्देशन के सदस्यगण और मेरे शेयरहोल्डर भाइयों बहनों, मैं संतोष कुमार सराफ आप सभी को नमस्कार करता हूं। आशा करता हूं, मैं कलकत्ता से बोल रहा हूं सर। आशा करता हूं आप जितने भी अधिकारी और जितने भी हमारे शेयर होल्डर भाई बहन हैं इस समय प्रेजेंट और अच्छे सुरक्षित और स्वास्थ्य में होंगे सर। सर मैं मैनेजमेंट बोर्ड की टीम को धन्यवाद देता हूँ काफ़ी अच्छा रिजल्ट देने के लिए और काफ़ी अच्छा डिविडेंड देने के लिए। सर मैंने एक लेटर पहले भेज दिया था मेरे पर्सनों के साथ में, शायद सेक्रेटरी ने आपको दिया होगा, अगर नहीं दिया तो मैं थोड़ा रिपीट करता हूँ। मेरा लेटर मिला सर हमीद सर।
I am Rajendra. Can you answer that, please?
My letter we
I've
received.
unmuted your line, sir. Go ahead.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We have received the queries. Can you hear me
Okay.
now? Diksha, can
Okay.
the audience hear me?
तो मैं
We have received
Yes, sir,
the
we can hear
queries.
you.
Address the queries.
ओके
We will
ओके
address
तो
the
सर मैं
queries.
ज़्यादा ओके ठीक है, मैं ज़्यादा प्रश्न नहीं करूँगा, लेकिन मैं चाहूँगा फीमेल एम्प्लॉय की संख्या बढ़ाई जाए और जो जो मैंने प्रश्न मेरे लेटर में लिखे हैं उनके उत्तर चेयरमैन साहब को दे दीजिए, वो जरूर देंगे। और ज़्यादा समय लेते हुए सर बीसी मीटिंग काफ़ी अच्छी है जो मैं करते से आपके जुड़ सक रहा हूँ सर। और सर फ्यूचर में कहूँगा फिजिकल मीटिंग आप करते हैं तो उसके साथ बीसी मीटिंग जरूर करिएगा सर। और एक लास्ट में सभी से रिक्वेस्ट, आप तो दवाई कंपनी से कनेक्टेड सर, फिर भी मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ हमारे जितने भी कर्मचारी और जितने भी हमारे शेयर होल्डर भाई बहन हैं वह बूस्टर डोज जरूर ले लें सर, क्योंकि मुझे भी कोविड हो गया था 15 दिन 20 दिन पहले, लेकिन मैं ऑर्डिनरी दवाई लेके ठीक हुआ क्योंकि मैंने बूस्टर तो ऑलरेडी ले चुकी थी। इसलिए हाथ जोड़ के उन सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है
इस अमृत काल में जो फ्री डोजन मिल रही जो ले लीजिए सर। एक सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक के बंद हो गया, उसके बारे में क्या कदम उठाइएगा सर। और ज़्यादा समय नहीं तो कि मैंने लेटर लिख दिया, एक बार हमारे जितने भी चेयरमैन साहब आपकी और हमारे भी जितने भी डायरेक्टर अधिकारी और जितने भी कर्मचारी हैं उनकी लंबी उम्र की कामना करता हूँ, उनके परिवार की लंबी उम्र की कामना करता हूँ और मेरे कंपनी के अच्छे भविष्य की कामना करते अपना वक्तव्य समाप्त करता हूँ। जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार जी, एक बार फिर से धन्यवाद सर। हिंदी समझ में नहीं आती तो मैंने अंग्रेजी में लेटर भेजा आपको, देख लीजिएगा कृपा करके।
Thank you. Speaker shareholder number 2, Bimal Kumar Agarwal, is connected with us on audio. So your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
We can hear you, sir. Please
Hello.
go ahead.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I'll thank the company secretary and his team, and also NSDL. And I'll come to the main point. And one sec, just hold on. Hello. Hello.
Sir, please go ahead. We can hear you.
After posting strong growth in revenue and profit in FY21, the company posted moderate growth in FY22. What is the future roadmap for the company? What is the impact of China factor on our company business? What initiative the company has taken under to overcome challenges faced due to China factor? Please provide the detailed company research and development initiatives. What are the R&D achievement over last 1 year, and also throw some light in capex plan and what how many patent drugs. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker shareholder, that is speaker shareholder number 3, Narendra V. Javeri, is connected with us on audio. So your line is unmuted. Request
Yes,
you to please
madam.
go ahead, sir.
Yes, respected chairman, distinguished member of the board of director. My name is Javeri. Sir, we have received your annual report after some struggle. You see, sir, under the guise of COVID, government want to drive out the COVID, whereas the Ministry of Company Affairs wanted to bring in the COVID. This is very surprising thing. Now, judiciary is working, trains are running fully packed, temples are opening, hotels are opening, schools are opening. Why the shareholders are discriminated? It is nothing, not proper, sir. You management must take up this matter and shareholders should join with them. Let us have a physical meeting. This video conference, audio conference is not suitable to all of us, sir. The sense and reaction of the house cannot be gauged on this matter through this medium. So coming straight to the point, the dividend payment, sir. So dividend payment is as per on the page number 203 of the profit loss account on standalone basis, it is 36.67 paisa. You pay only on the page number 124 in the board of director report. You reported that only 13.64 paisa distributed by way of dividend. This comes to only 403 rupees, 403 crores. Out of 17,983 crores available for distribution, sir. Sir, I see in the pharmaceutical company, you are the lowest paymaster, sir. 5 rupees is nothing. You see, in the days of inflation and rising prices, 5 rupees we cannot get the cutting chai or we cannot get a glass of water also outside, sir. Sir, you must give up your very conservative dividend policy. 17,983 rupees not available profit. Out of that, you are giving 403 rupees. This comes to 13%. The normal standard is 1/3 of the profit, available profit should be distributed. You are not observing the 1/3, it is not even 1/4, it is less than that, sir. How can shareholder survive, sir? At least you must have some better. Last year, sir, you revised the board of directors remunerations. Why you discriminate between the shareholders, sir? Why the dividend policy should not be revised, sir? It's not fair, sir. So secondly, sir, nowadays because of this new restriction, rules and regulations falsely implemented and coercively implied, dividend advice should be sent to all shareholders, sir. We don't have any proof that we are a shareholder of the company. Now we must have a dividend advice from the company with color code, distinctive color code, that we can have a for future reference. Now suppose something happen and some people are receiving the similar amount of dividend, say 200 or 500 rupees similar amount. How one can establish that this dividend is from shareholder, similar company? So dividend advice must be sent to the shareholder, sir. Uh, Sir, another thing, the Ministry of Company Affairs or SEBI has wrongfully presumed that all shareholders are like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. All shareholders are not like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Many people don't have internet facility because it is a costly affair. Now, dividend amount is very small and we have to pay handsome amount to the subscribers for subscribing the internet subscription. So, they must not insist and coercively insist that you all shareholders must have a, this internet facility. It is a very costly affair, sir. Now we must return to the physical affairs, sir. Sir, you have in the chairman report for the managing director remuneration, you have mentioned about the relevant subsidy. Now, what is the word relevant subsidy expression, sir? You have used the word relevant subsidy. Will you please enlighten us regarding relevant subsidy meaning, sir? Okay, sir. Then I wish you best of luck and we wish to see you next year with the 7 to 8 rupees minimum dividend or 25 to 35% of the available profit should be distributed by way of dividend, sir. I hope wiser council will shall prevail, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. We now invite speaker shareholder number 4, Atis Patel, who's connected with us on audio. Your line is unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, we can
Hello.
hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Respected Chairman, eminent Board of Directors, the ladies on the board, a company secretary. I'm not feeling well. So I'm not able to talk properly. Please forgive me. I thank very much the Secretarial Department for sending me the annual report in time. Mr. Umang Voda, you are the MD of the company, CEO of the company. Please, we expect to be considerate with the shareholders also. Two things are there. Dividend is only once in a year or twice in a year. And it is out of the dividend that we have to carry on our living, especially the senior citizens. And it is essential that AGM is meant for the shareholders. Board meeting is meant for the directors. It is essential that shareholders are given importance at the AGM. At the board meeting, directors should be given importance. But if it is vice versa and no importance is given to shareholders, it's a very, very sad matter. Also, I would like to stress one important point. So, India is very rich in Mother Earth is very rich in various plants, herbs, and medicinal medicines. Why are we going into chemical formulated medicines? Why are we putting all the various hard, harsh chemicals in the blood system of innumerable people? Instead, why we can't come out with the various, like Karela water, honey ginger, honey turmeric, honey clove. Make such medicines instead of making all chemical medicines and earning money out of it. Give importance to herbs and shrubs. Mother Earth is very rich and fertile. You may be staying abroad a few months of the year, but we stay in India throughout all the 12 months. So it is a very hot and humid climate in India. And to have harsh chemical medicines is very difficult. Our liver, intestine, spleen, it gets very harshly affected because of the chemicals. So it is essential that we go in for various herbs, plants and shrubs, which are enormous in a city like, in a country like India. Please make it, uh, make medicines out of the herbs and plants and shrubs. Give people good, and also the medicines that you make, the effect should last at least for 5 6 hours. If you take your medicine, the effect is lasting only for 2 or 3 hours. Then it gets dissolved and it is back to the same. Why is it so? Please see that it is mm, made out of, it is made out properly and the effect lasts for at least 7 8 hours if you are giving us chemically formulated medicine. Mm, 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 because if you take herbs, plants, shrubs, the effect lasts. Supposing we take it night time around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whole night the effect remains till the morning, next morning, 7 o'clock. Is it not good? It's worthwhile. Please, Hamid sir, you are a very senior person. Please see to it that we are protected. We are given good medicines. Umangora sir, please do good for our Indian people. I wish the company all the very best. I'm not in a better position to talk. Mm, mm, mm. All the employees have worked hard in the hot sun, in the heavy rains. I wish them good luck. If you do anything for the COVID, for outside people, especially CSR activities, do something even for the shareholders. Then give us chance to get ourselves prepared with your COVID or immunization and all that. It will be better for us. Help us also out. People keep on producing and producing and producing, and we go on doing charity in CSR activities. But people who are reinvesting it in your company as shareholders, आप उसका कोई भी कंसिडरेशन नहीं करते हो. आप जब भी नमाज पढ़ते हो तभी आप अल्लाह को बोलते तो होंगे ना कि प्लीज कंसिडर माय प्रेयर्स. आई एम टेकिंग कुरान इन माय हैंड एंड प्रेइंग टू यू. प्लीज कंसिडर माय प्रेयर्स. आई ऑल्सो take this annual report and I request you to please consider that good medicines are given by CIPLA. Then there is also one more point. Supposing other chemical companies, some medicines are very famous, like Corex. Corex was very famous. Other companies did not progress in that Corex, other substitutes of Corex. So they made it a point to prepare all the wrong things and put a ban on Corex. I don't know why are we indulging in all such activities. I'm not saying CIPLA is indulging, but I'm saying why are we indulging in all these activities to put an end to very good medicines made by other pharmaceutical companies. I thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We have speaker shareholder number 7, Mr. Yusuf Yunus Rangwala, connected with us. Please go ahead, sir. Mr. Yusuf, please go ahead. As there is no response from the line of Mr. Yusuf, we move on to the next speaker shareholder, Mr. Kaushik Shawkar, speaker shareholder number 11. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, am I audible
Yes, please go ahead.
and visible too, right?
That's right. We can see you too.
Right, sir. So, thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. First off, I would like to thank the board of directors for giving me opportunity to speak in this forum. Many of you would remember me from the conversation of past, so I will keep both my ask and introduction a brief. I hope I'm clearly audible. Hello.
So we can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Myself, Kaushik Shahukar, a qualified and a practicing chartered accountant from Mumbai. I have been suffering from dystonia, 155% of my body paralyzed, impacting my right hand, my right leg, and speech. While I have not let that come in my way of becoming a chartered accountant and a practicing, I do request your support in helping me continue to be self-reliant. I hope I'm clearly audible till now.
Yes, you are, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, I was optimistic after our conversation we had last year about me working for our organization in certification work, including Form 15CB. However, nothing has worked since. While I understand things may have not progressed due to pandemic situation last year, I do hope that after our conversation today, our organization would engage me in this area as soon as possible. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and I hope to see a positive movement forward with my ask. I support all the resolution. It will appreciate it if our company can support me with at least some certification work. I am also aware that this is not a forum to speak, but how else can I reach you? Please throw some light. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Speaker shareholder number 12, Mr. Gautam Tiwari, is connected with us on audio. So your line is unmuted. Go ahead, please.
You can listen me, madam.
Yes, we can, sir.
You can
Please
listen
go
me.
ahead. Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
You can hear me clearly, no?
Yes, sir, I can hear you clearly.
You can
Please
hear
go
me
ahead.
clearly, madam. Okay, okay. Okay. Good evening, Honorable Chairman Sir Y.K. Hamid ji, Ms. Samina Hamid ji, all the eminent, dignified, well dignified, highly dignified Board of Directors, Team Cipla Limited, fellow shareholders, myself Gautam Tiwari, participating at this AGM from Mumbai. Dear sir, I would like to thank the company management for paying rupees 5 for equity dividend, which stands to 250%. Dear sir, here I would like to specially mention that Shri Rajendra Chopra ji, since last 5 years, he has been giving a very, very good investor service, investor care, and helping us all the time. When he's with his associate Mr. Natraj, who has been there and attending all our calls and solving all our issues and problems um, uh, very much punctually and instantly and satisfactorily, very humbly, politely, year on year. And moreover, the services rendered by this NSDL and this chorus department, and just now the one which I worked with our moderator here. So are very good, exceptionally good. I am really thankful to the company, sir, for extending such a good, dedicated, and committed investor providers to shareholders of our company year on year and all the time. And I wish that it will keep on continuing in future. Dear sir, I thank the company for winning various awards and accolades. And also, I thank the company for excellent CSR activities which are beneficial to our community, society, and public at large. Dear sir, our company has always worked in the interest of small shareholders. Sir, I am a shareholder of your company right from day one, and I have always observed that the company's management have done the multiplication of our wealth, of our all investment, and rewarded the shareholders each and every year by taking wonderful, amazing, miraculous decisions year after year and all the time. For which we are thankful to the company. You have really made the shareholders richer and richer year after year, in continuity. I support all appointments and de-appointments of our directors. Also, I support strongly, and I already voted in favor of them all by remote e-voting. Dear sir, I have got a strong confidence, faith in the management, and we wish you a very happy, long, healthy, wealthy life in the days to come, along with a bright future for days and years ahead in the company. So, little small queries I got. What is our capacity utilization at an average at present? Sir, what is the vaccination status of our employees? And which are the new medicines that we have launched this year, sir, and waiting for a photo map for our next 2 years arrangement of our company, what it has got in the pocket to do. And dear sir, I am always there with you, and I shall be there with you, always supporting till I breathe my last, and even after that also. And I promise that we will always be together, whether it is doomsday or the glorious day, but we'll never part. Thank you very much, sir, for patient listening. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We now move on to the next speaker shareholder number 13, Rajesh Chainani. Sir, request you to please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are. Please go ahead.
Respected Chairman Mr. Y.K. Amit ji, Vice Chairman M.K. Amit, Umang Chopra ji, and highly distinguished Board of Directors, my fellow shareholders, my name is Rajesh Chanani. So first of all, I thank our Company Secretary Mr. Rajendra Chopra for coming out with the excellent balance sheet, sir. It's a 388 pages balance sheet. Each and everything is highlighted, covered very well. The 10-year highlight on page number 14 is beautifully done, sir. And sir, you are the Yusuf, what Yusuf Saab, Dilip Kumar sir was for the film industry, you are for the farmer world, sir. YK Amiti, you are for the farmer world. So there is a lot to learn from you, sir. Lot of medical companies have to learn from you, sir. Your prices of your products are so reasonable, sir. I think you should be in Delhi, sir, not in Mumbai. You should be in the central government, in the medical field. And guide them, sir, how the route is going on, sir. All your medicines are so subsidized and all are effective. So I really appreciate, sir. You're doing a CSR activity on the hand, and but this is general CSR activity you're doing for the entire India, sir. So only thing is, sir, it's been a very long time, sir. There has been no bonus for supply. I think last time was 1.5 for one share. It was given 1.5 or something. So it's been a very long year, sir. And results are very good, sir. So I would really hope for a bonus, or maybe we can do a stock split to 1 rupee, sir. That so that the share capital is also not affected, and it's like it would be like a mini bonus, sir. So base thing is, sir, 3 साल हुए सर, मिले नहीं है सर, 3 साल हो गए. तो इतना ही कहूंगा सर, ना दूर रहने से रिश्ते टूट जाते हैं, और ना पास रहने से रिश्ते जुड़ जाते हैं. ये तो एहसास के वो पक्के धागे हैं जो याद करने से और मजबूत हो जाती है. So sir, you are always with us. We always remember you, sir, and I hope, sir, we meet you personally, sir. I have supported all the resolutions, and a lot of points have been discussed. So I won't be taking much of your time, and I won't bore you, sir. So thank you very much, sir, and thanks to the entire management and the secretarial team. Really, they helped me out really in connecting with you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. We now invite speaker shareholder number 14, Hiranand Kotwani. Sir, request you to please go ahead. Mr. Kotwani, you may please go ahead. While we check the connection for Mr. Kotwani, we tried contacting speaker shareholder number 15, Mahesh Kumar Bubna, and speaker shareholder number 16, Aspi Bhesenia, to join the meeting. However, there was no response from their connections. We move on to the speaker shareholder number 17, that is Manoj Kumar Gupta. Sir, please go ahead. Mr. Gupta, request you to please go ahead. While we check the connection for Mr. Gupta, we move on to speaker shareholder number 18, Vinod Agarwal. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, respected Chairman YK Hamid, our MD Umang Voraji, our CFO Dinesh Jain, and our CS Rajendra Chopra. Good afternoon to everyone. I voted for all the resolutions sought to be passed in today's AGM. So I have noted that the consolidated operational revenue over 21,763 crores, and the total PAT was in the 2,559 crores. So that is margin of more than 10% on the PAT margin of 10%, which is a very good margin that the company is enjoying. And you have declared a dividend of rupees 5 on rupees 2 face value share, which is good, sir. My one or two queries, sir. How much of the R&D spend that we are doing of 969 crores going into the biosimilar business, and mRNA part of the new drug portfolios that the company is developing. And how many patents are we getting, sir? Because we can copy patents which are going out on generic basis, but if we are doing such large sums of R&D expenditure, we can file our own new chemical entities and get patents for ourselves, which can have a long-term revenue generation for our company. How many of this have we done for our company? And I'm also happy that the company in the last year earned a net foreign exchange of 4,237 crore. Foreign income was 6,017 crore, and the outgo was 1,780 crore. So the net foreign exchange earning was 4,237 crore. I also compliment the management for receiving all the awards that have been mentioned on pages 22 and 23 of the annual report, sir. I am signing off. Honorable, I wish the company all the best and for the future, and thank you, sir, for giving me time to speak.
Thank you. We move on to the next speaker shareholder number 19, Ashish Bansal. Please go ahead.
You can hear my voice, sir?
Yes, we can hear you,
Hello?
sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you for giving us the dividend, and thanks for sending the annual report in physical form. I I have sent a few questions by email. I hope you have received it. If you can reply me, I am thankful to you. If you have received or not, sir, my queries, I have sent the email. Hello?
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello, sir. You have received or not? I have sent by email few questions.
Okay, Mr. Rajendra Chopra, your line is unmuted.
Thank you so
Hello.
much.
Yes, can you repeat, please?
So they've sent their queries on email.
Queries we have received and we will reply
Okay,
during the answer session.
sure. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much, sir.
Thank you. We tried contacting speaker shareholder number 20, Dinesh Bhatia, to join the meeting. However, there was no response from the connection. We move on to the next speaker shareholder number 21, Madhura Nanti. Please go ahead.
Uh, Good evening, respected Chairman. Actually, I would like to congratulate for a very good annual report of the company. I had 13 questions, and I would not take much of your time. I had already put it on email. So if you could just respond or reply on the call point by point. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. We tried contacting the last speaker shareholder number 22, Vasudha Vikas Takve, to join the meeting. However, the number was switched off. This was the last question. Thank you all the speakers for your participation. The management will provide the answers to your questions shortly.
I love cows and sheep. Moo moo like that. मुझे ना सीन में ऐसा करना पसंद है. मुझे learn about space. मैं तो कोई planet पे गया ही नहीं, एक planet पे गया हूँ जिस पे हम रहते हैं, अर्थ. अरे अर्थ में ही तो सारे लोग होते हैं. Some people don't care, they think there's lots of water on earth, so they leave the taps open. So, noise pollution is also there. Paw, pee, poo, those type of noises. हाँ, मेरे को सपने में आते हैं ये. I don't like people when they throw things into the sea. समुद्र कुछ बोला तो मैं नहीं फेंका, मैं डस्टबिन में फेंका. वर्ल्ड जो रहता है ना, वो घूमने वाला, जिसमें एक पेड़ को नहीं काटना चाहिए. मैं वायरल कर सकता हूँ. सुनो, हमें प्लैनेट अर्थ को ख्याल कैसे रखना है. सुनो, think and think of everything. हमें गाड़ी ज़्यादा नहीं चलाना चाहिए. हम साइकिल से जा सकते हैं. So I want to make one machine that collects all the pollution and gives that oxygen. I would just go in the sea and clean up, run away from shark, and then I come back. I will actually put a law. Whoever throws away trash on the ground, they'll go to jail. You should use recyclable paper bags. You throw it, it'll again come to another person. मैं तो सब कुछ करूँगा. जैसे पानी बचाऊंगा, पूरा दुनिया साफ करवाऊंगा. अर्थ का केयर या वाटर का केयर, ये सब करने के लिए उनका ख्याल रखना है. यही होता है केयर का मतलब. Our earth will become a healthy earth again.
से तेरी हवा का झोंका देन है आसमां से आजाद रहने का मौका. क्या हुआ?
अस्थमा, पर मेरा डांस.
तो क्या हुआ? डॉक्टर अंकल ने इनहेलर दिया है ना, ये लो.
जिंदगी खुल के जीने की अगर तुझ में चाहत है तो उसे पूरा करने की अब तेरी मुट्ठी में ताकत है, ताकत है.
सौ बातों की बात एक यही,
अस्थमा के लिए इनहेलर्स है सही. अस्थमा के लिए इनहेलर्स है सही.
इनहेलर्स है सही.
अरे प्रजापति, अभी तक सोए नहीं?
अरे सर नाक बंद है, नींद कहाँ से आएगी?
अरे सर ये नेजलिन स्प्रे डालो। ये बंद नाक खोले ताकि आप खोल के सो ले।
नेजलिन स्प्रे। शुभ रात्रि।
भैया कमर दर्द के लिए कुछ देना।
ये चलेगा?
मिर्ची।
मिर्ची की जलन से आप थोड़ी देर के लिए अपने दर्द को भूल जाएंगी।
पर इससे दर्द थोड़ी मिटेगा।
दर्द को मिटाना है तो ओमनी जेल मांगो ना। इसका डाइक्लोफेनिक फॉर्मूला अंदर तक जाए और जड़ से दर्द को मिटाए। ओमनी जेल, इंडिया का नंबर 1 पेन रिकवरी जेल।
एक ओआरएस देना।
कौन सा?
कोई भी।
एक्सक्यूज मी अंकल, स्कूल गए हैं ना आप? तो आपको ORS अल्फाबेट्स पता है ना?
हाँ।
जब LMN PQR ORS के आगे पीछे आता है वो ORS नहीं होता। लुक देयर, प्रोलाइट ORS, WHO अप्रूव्ड फॉर्मूला, समझे? क्लास डिसमिस्ड।
प्रोलाइट ORS, असली ORS।
बारात के टाइम पे बारिश, सत्यानाश। अरे तिरपाल फैलाओ। हमारी तरफ से है ये।
लड़के वालों की तरफ से होगा शायद।
थकता नहीं है ये। कहाँ से खींचो, इधर से पकड़ो। अरे कमाल की एनर्जी है यार। वो किसकी तरफ से?
बस जरूरत दिखी, चला आया। रहो हर फर्ज के लिए तैयार सिप्ला हेल्थ के नए मैक्सिरिच गोल्ड मल्टीविटामिन के साथ। मैक्सिरिच गोल्ड, मैक्स एनर्जी और मैक्स इम्यूनिटी का डेली डोज।
In my second trimester, with my cute baby bump and pregnancy glow, #mom2be, Instagram loved me. और अगले ही पल मैं बस रोती रहती थी अपने बेड पर अकेले, like a beached whale. And you can't post that, can you? Breastfeeding. एक माँ के लिए इससे बढ़कर और कुछ नहीं. You feel this connection. पर कभी कभी you feel like a cafeteria जो open है 24/7 without a break. I'd look at my belly with so much pride. I was growing a miracle inside. And now I catch myself thinking, कोई miracle ही चाहिए अब.
Mama Expert believes that moms come first, which is why.
Over to you, Mr. Vora.
Thank you, everyone, for the questions. I'm happy to answer. And where you do not receive an answer, please do contact the company secretary team, and they will be able to give you the responses. So I will first respond to the queries we got in writing before the AGM. I think Anish Bansal had written a couple of questions on India and asking for growth segments in India, and I think we'd like to mention that the India growth is going to be dependent on making sure that our big brands grow bigger. And within segments, whether it's respiratory or cardiovascular, and even now acute therapies in tier 2 to 6 towns, we expect to see very strong growth in India. The second question from Mr. Anish Bansal was on R&D and the number of projects. And I think we currently have over 50 projects in our R&D pipeline, of which we try and file and launch an equal number every year. And I think that is the base for the spending. And in terms of the capex projects, we are expanding capacities across our locations in both API and formulations, and those capacities will continue to expand at the historical rates of capital expenditure that we put. Coming to Shri Mr. Santosh Saraf. Your questions are on number of new products that have been launched in the year. I'd like to tell you that we've done over 100 launches across our various markets, or close to 100 launches across our various markets in the world. The capex plans I have already answered Shri Bansal's query. There was a question on the main competitors. We are ranked number 3rd in the pharmaceutical industry, and many times the number of people who are the number of people after us who are actively considered in rankings are almost about 30 or 35. We have the impact on the company due to the Ukraine war. We have less than 1% of our exports to Ukraine. You have asked about help needed from state and central government. I think the government has been very helpful with the PLI scheme, and we have been able to enact that. We have been able to opt for that scheme as we have gone forward. Then it's about the steps taken to replace single-use plastic bottles, and we've taken several measures. I think we've almost tried to replace, we've almost replaced 80%, or sorry, recycled 80% of the plastic that we use, and the objective is to get to 100%. The ratio of male to female employees, I think we have about 13%. Your query was on that. We have about 13.34%. 99% of our employees are covered with the health insurance. We are doing significantly well in terms of rainwater harvesting. That was your next question. I think a lot of work is happening there, and we will continue to take action in the rainwater harvesting. We've almost done about 1.2 lakh kiloliters of harvesting this last year. There are lots of other questions you have asked. You have asked about income tax cases that have been pending. And we have, wherever these cases are pending, we have appointed senior counsel who help us with these cases. And you have mentioned 84, 85, and maybe what you had perhaps wanted to mention was 96, 97 in your question. I'll now go to Madhura Nancy, and I think she talked about where will we grow in India. I believe that has been answered. We also have a very strong consumer business which is growing significantly, and in a recent in a recent release we have mentioned that this business can grow many-fold in India. You also asked about the M&A strategy. We are looking for large brands as well as we're also looking at good assets to acquire where we can find them. In the OTC business, you spoke about the top 10 brands, and I think we've got a healthy mix of products. We have products like Nicotex, like Prolite, and I'd encourage you to try and use some of them if you have not. And then, of course, Omnigel is our pain asset. We are looking at, you asked about areas in consumer health. We are looking at pain, vitamins, cough, dermatology. You've asked about the filings in European markets. We've got about 95 filings across the emerging markets in Europe. And then on the consumer wellness franchise, as you may recall, we have about 9 to 10% of revenues. We are trying to take that share up to 15%. Your question was on the cash balance, and we've said that we are, obviously we also have, as we have mentioned, some liabilities that could accrue to the company in the future, but as well as your request for revisiting the dividend policy, I'm sure the board would consider that. And the capacity of the line in the US, I think that's for a specific product. It's right now it's not changeable across a line of products. So I will stop with questions with that. I think if we have not answered any of those questions, please do reach out to our company secretary team, and they will provide these answers to you. Going on to the rest of the questions, I think we have already covered the questions. Mr. Anil Parekh had a couple of questions. The future of the API business was his second question. The first question was on India, which we have answered earlier. And I think we have a list of leadership molecules and molecules which are going off patent in the API segment. We are going to try to make sure that we can maximize the opportunity here. Your question was on Molnupiravir. We have tied up with global funding agencies, and where there is a demand, we will be able to supply that going forward. On Chemwell, we have a partnership. Right now there are 3 biosimilars, 2 biosimilars in active discussion and progression, and likely that we will continue to add to that pipeline. In the Lilly partnership, it's about taking medicines that India cannot get because of patents. We partner with pharmaceutical MNCs and take their medicines into India. So we have almost 5 or 6 products with Lilly in the diabetes space there. It's a very strategic partnership for us. Mr. Shailesh, you had asked questions on, just give me a minute, please. I'm just reading out your questions. So, your question was on the income from wholesale trading. This is the income in the standalone books in wholesale trading. It's coming from the GX and the RX business, our India businesses, and it's the income that is supplied from the third-party manufacturing sites. Your next question was on ISO certification, and you had asked for list of abbreviations and how to simplify that. We have taken your input, and we will revert to you with that. There are 583 DMFs, and you had asked for which countries, etc. this is sold, etc. And 53% of our API business is sold to Europe and some key global customers. And there are a lot of it which is also sold to emerging markets. The rest is all to emerging markets largely. You had asked about R&D. I think I have answered that question earlier. We at any point in time we have over 50 projects that we track, and the objective is to try and be first in the market in several of these. You had also mentioned about ISO certifications. I think we have taken those inputs. Lekha Shah was the next person who would raise questions, and the question was about COVID, and I think our revenues were about 5% in the last year from COVID across the world, COVID products across the world. You had also asked about market share, and we have about 5.35% of the share of the India market, and it is more profitable for us than compared to several of the other markets that we operate in. And you'd also asked about expansions in manufacturing, which I believe I have answered earlier. Then the next question was from Smita Shahji, and her question was on future medicines in the market. And हमने पिछले साल तकरीबन 93 प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च किए हैं पूरी दुनिया भर में, और इनमें फिर आपका सवाल था बायो और ऑफ पैटेंट मेडिसिन को लेके। और बायो में जितने हमारे दवाई हैं उसमें जैसे कि मैंने पहले कहा था कि तीन प्रोडक्ट्स पे हम अभी काम कर रहे हैं, और बाकी सब ऑफ पैटेंट दवाइयों में भी हम काम करेंगे। संतोष कुमार सराफ जी, आपने सवाल पूछे थे, हमने उनके जवाब दिए हैं। अब पहले पढ़ लिए थे और वही सवाल आपने फिर पूछे थे, तो मेरे हिसाब से वो सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक और आपने जो फीमेल एम्प्लॉय की रेशियो के बारे में बात पूछी थी, वो हमने जवाब दे दिए हैं आपको। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज फ्रॉम बिमल कुमार अग्रवाल जी. This was about impact of the China lockdown on the company, and I think thanks to the fantastic work that a supply chain team has done, we have been able to mitigate this impact. The impact is quite significant for the pharmaceutical industry, but I think by and large in the Indian players, because of stocking and because of better management of the supply, have been able to control this significantly. R&D achievements over the last 1 year, as you can see, a large pipeline has been unlocked both in India and in the United States. We are launching several products first and ahead of the others, and those are some of the achievements that we have taken. And I think peptides is a big achievement. We're now looking forward to some of the launches in the respiratory area also, our first time launches in some of the markets across the world. Mr. Javeri, you asked about a physical meeting and the request to consider a dividend. Obviously the board, we have taken your inputs and the board shall investigate this. Mrs. Patel, I wish you well. We heard your questions, and we wish you very well with your health. Your questions were on herbal medicines. There is a division of our business called the consumer business, which is trying to do more and more of these herbal medicines, and also where possible we are trying to support it with data. We also have a lot of medicines which use herbs, even though they may be chemical in their synthesis, and I'd like you to keep that a lot of our flavors, etc., herbal flavors as we go ahead with them. Gautam Tiwari, is you've asked about capacity utilization. By and large, our capacity utilization is around 70 to 80% in most facilities. I think some obviously are lower than the others. And you've asked for new launches. As I mentioned, we've launched about close to 93 or 100 products in the previous year. Your roadmap, you asked for a roadmap for the next 2 to 3 years. As you can see, a lot of our markets will grow. We see significant traction in our markets in India and United States, and of course the emerging side of the world. And we will hope to continue to further our trajectory here. Rajesh Chenani ji, you had asked about the stock split and the bonus shares, and I think the board has noted your observations and will consider it when appropriate. And then there were some questions that we were not able to get from several of the other participants. I think Mr. Kaushik Shokar, you had asked a question on your employment potentially with and some work that the company could give you, and I think please do write to Mr. Chopra and we will try and see what best we can do to help and support you. I think with that, we have more or less covered the questions. One last question was asked by Mr. Vinod Agarwal on how much of the R&D spend is towards the biosimilar business, and right now in the last year spending, not a very significant amount is from the biosimilar business. It is less than 30 crores in the last year, and those spends will continue to increase as we go forward in the years ahead. So with that, Rajendra, I believe a lot of the questions have been asked, and I will now turn the proceedings back to you.
Should I take over?
Yes, you go ahead, please.
I now declare the proceedings of the annual general meeting as completed. As mentioned earlier, the remote e-voting facility is still available to shareholders for the next half an hour. The shareholders who have not yet voted can proceed to vote by clicking the voting icon visible at the screen. On behalf of the board, Rajendra Chopra, the company secretary, is authorized to receive the scrutinizer's report and announce the voting results. The resolutions as set forth in the notice shall be deemed to be passed today, subject to the receipt of the requisite number of votes. In conclusion, we thank all the participants for attending CIPLA's 86th annual general meeting. All of you, including the directors and all the shareholders present today, please take care and stay safe until we meet next year again. Thank you, everyone.